when I was 25, when I realized, if I don't mess with my mind, I can be ecstatic any moment of my life. When I realized this, and when I experimented in so many ways, in various kinds of situations, it doesn't matter where I am, in what kind of conditions I am, if I just take my hand off my mind, I'm just bursting with ecstasy. Then I knew this is it. I thought I was the first one to discover. I am like Columbus. Columbus discovered America. Well, before him, for thousands of years, people have been living here, but he discovered. Similarly, in the Indian school textbooks, we read, Vasco da Gama discovered India. This Portuguese guy came and discovered India. No, it was there before that. We've been there for thousands of years before that as a well-organized culture, but he discovered us. Just like that, I discovered that if I don't mess with my mind, I'm ecstatic. Because right from my very early age, I must tell you, somewhere deep inside I've been so arrogant that I never read anything. I thought, or I didn't even think, because life engaged me. From a very early age, plants, animals, tadpoles, frogs, fishes, insects engage me so deeply, and of course, say, cobras, they engage me so deeply that I never thought it's necessary to open a book and read it. So definitely I did not read the Yoga Sutras. Though I was practicing yoga, intensely practicing yoga, but never bothered to read Yoga Sutras. I remember when I went to Malladihilli Swami's ashram for my first stint of yoga, many years later, after things happened to me, I remembered, always there were books on yoga, written by him and also other things, Yoga Sutras written in Kannada. I still remember that it was a library with hardly 30-40 books, so I remember almost all the titles that were there. But I never bothered to pull out one damn thing and read it. Because life kept me engaged. What was happening within me, what was happening around me, kept me fully engaged. I never thought I had to open and read something. Except the compulsory books, like textbooks. That also I read only 35% of it because I was only aiming to get 35%. So I never read the Yoga Sutras, nowhere did I come across Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. This I heard many years later. So when I realized that if I don't mess with my mind, I'm just ecstatic and it can be very easily done, and I knew how to do it. I sat down and made a plan, a real plan. In 2.5 years' time, I will make the whole world ecstatic. Still, you're still sitting there and gaping at me. 38 years, huh? Well, here and there we see tears of ecstasy, but not the whole world, it's not happened. So we're still striving. And people are so invested in their miseries. I never imagined that people would be so invested in their miseries. Things that cause enormous distress to them, they're so invested, they will not leave it, no matter what. I did not realize this when I was 25. I thought, if you give a better option, everybody will jump. But no, they won't leave the familiar, because they are so horribly invested in their insecurities and miseries. So, having said that, but as I said, we are not doing very badly. We are definitely going to fail in my lifetime. I don't feel that way, but you can see it's in the evening. This is not the morning of my life, towards the evening. Not at sunset, there is still a lot more. Before sunset there are a lot of colors, all right? It's the grandest time for the sun in terms of scenery. If I had come to Chennai 50 years ago or 100 years ago, in what physical form people would be, in what level of physical fitness they would be, ordinary people I'm talking about. I'm not talking about gymnasts, sports persons, not those kind of people, ordinary people on the street. Or even now, in what kind of physical strength and condition people are in rural India, for example. I said, see, suppose it so happened, you were walking on the street and you saw a tiger, a wild tiger, hungry one. How many of you can at least climb a tree? And this is a spectacular show, a tiger on a Chennai street. This is not a everyday happening, it is something you must enjoy. But how many of you can climb a tree, which is the trunk of it, usually the city trees, what is on the avenues and stuff, is not more than 8 to 12 feet. How many of you can climb this 8 to 12 feet and sit on a branch and enjoy the wildlife view? No. Only those guys who are doing the menial jobs, the guy who is sweeping the street, maybe he will go sit on the tree and watch how wonderful a breakfast you are. Why have we become like this? It's not that tiger is where is the tiger going to come? That's not the point. Why are you in this condition that you cannot do anything physically anymore? All you can go to office and come back. Those things are also necessary in today's world, but is it not important that you are in some way physically competent? Physical competence is a reflection of your physiological strength. And your physiological strength in many ways is the foundation for your psychological balance. It is no more in question. That's what I was talking about, this gut all the time. Your physiological strength is the foundation for your psychological balance in many, many ways. We've always been saying this, the yogic sciences, because a very stable and effervescent physiological condition is very, very important to have a certain level of psychological freedom. Otherwise, every little thing you do, you have to think. Once you think, inevitably you're confused about every damn thing that you do. This is a kind of a compensatory activity that, you will see this in the cinema theaters and everything. If you have nothing to do, never before in the history of humanity was food simply available like this all the time. It's a wrong thing that everywhere you walk there is food. It should not be. I see some of the corporations in America are organizing like this. Food and toilet should always be within whatever 50 feet or 100 feet, something they've fixed, 50 feet I think. Within 50 feet of wherever you are, there must always be food, and that food is usually 1 month old, of course, and there is a toilet. No, I think food and toilet both must be far away. Then you will keep your physiology in a conscious condition. Everywhere there is toilet, it's not good, because body has certain resilience. You wanting to run to the toilet is not just physiological, sometimes it may be when the body, at some time it's disturbed, at that time it may be. Otherwise, in normal conditions, It is more a psychological condition than a physiological condition. That all the time you want to message, not because you have something very significant to say, it is simply because it's a release. Similarly, going to the toilet is a release, sexuality is a release, wherever, whenever, whatever, all the time the same things, because you are building up nonsense within yourself all the time. You need a release, all the time release. These things are being openly talked about as part of psychiatry, that you must find release. Why are you pent up? I think in one of the interviews, some journalist was asking me, Sadhguru, what do you do to unwind yourself? I said, what? Why will I wind myself up, first of all? I don't wind myself up and then want to unwind somewhere. What are you? Are you a grandfather clock or something? You wind yourself up. Even the watch doesn't need any winding anymore, it runs by itself. Why are you winding yourself up? This is simply because you understand life as an accumulation. Yes, body is an accumulation, mind is an accumulation, but life is not an accumulation, it's a phenomena that's happening. If you have not tasted that phenomena, you know only accumulations, you always think the safety is in accumulation, whether it's wealth, money, this, that, and body. But at least your money you can keep it in the bank, though it may be heavy in your mind. But if you accumulate too much body, you have to carry it around every moment of your life. And in the world today, 30% of the population is malnourished, and around the same percentage of people are obese, overweight. See, you can fix it. The world's problems of malnourishment, you can fix it. This happened. Shankaran Pillai was running a garment shop here in United States. And a lady came to buy some kind of a pullover. So, he promised her it is 100% wool. She took it, went home. The next day she came back and she said, you said it's 100% wool, but here the label says it is made in Bangladesh and it's 100% cotton. He said, ma'am, don't you be fooled by this. The label is only to fool the moths. Like this, there are so many labels all over the world, don't go by that. This is a simple experiment you must do, all of you who are sitting now on the floor, when you get up, you must use only two limbs to stand up. All of you, in your life you must keep this up, however old you are. This is a simple test for you. You sit down cross-legged, and when you want to stand up, you use only two limbs. That means you don't do four-wheel drive. Just get up with your legs. This much fitness at least you must manage. If you can't climb a tree, there are not enough tigers to, for them to roam in your city. If you can't climb a tree, it's okay, but at least you must be able to stand up. This much fitness you must maintain. Please do that for yourself.